My name is Rick Brady. Welcome to the first in the 5-week series of lessons from Winningware. What I'd like to do is start off with an overview of the online game planner spreadsheet. As you can see, I have brought this spreadsheet up in Excel, and we're just looking at the sheet right here in the Excel program. What I want to do is just take you through each one of the tabs here very briefly, and then we'll dive into more detail. So you can see at the bottom here there are 4 tabs. The Planner tab that we start off on, the default tab. The Dashboard tab, okay, which provides us an online business dashboard, which we'll come back to. The third tab is the Instructions for Use. So this basically just takes you through each of the instructions for actually using this tool. And then last but not least, there's a legend that will take you through all of the different terminology and explains, what each of these terms mean in the spreadsheet, regarding the selling machine, the lead gen machine, and the financial metrics. So let's go back to the planner and let's take a look at how this planning tool is intended to be used. So the first thing we do, well, first of all, the purpose of the planning tool is to enable you to simply crank in your metrics for your online business, and then to calculate how much traffic you'll need, what kind of conversion rates you'll need, your pipeline that you'll need to build, and build a relationship with your prospects through an autoresponder, etc. And we'll take you through each of these steps here in just a moment. But let's say we wanted to make $1 million. So we plug in our number into the cell B6 here, $1 million. And then we put in our product's average selling price. So I'm just going to say, to make this simple, that our product sells for $995. Okay. The average blended margin in percent, this is the percent of revenue that we receive on average, after we've paid commissions and affiliate commissions or any other overhead from a sales cost perspective. So let's say that on average, most of our sales, 80% of our sales, are direct sales, and because 80% of our sales are direct sales, we get most of that revenue, but 20% of it goes somewhere else. So we have about an 80% blended margin in terms of what the revenue we receive. So this says in order for us to hit our desired net revenue, we actually need to sell $1.25 million because of the margin that we're providing to the resellers. Okay. This then calculates the gross margin per sale, the unit volume. In other words, how many units do we need to sell? And you notice this is both aggregate for the year planning period and then by quarter. So how much do we need to sell per quarter? And this spreadsheet assumes that we're going to break down this sales problem into 4 quarters, where we start off selling 10% in Q1, 20% in Q2, another 10% basically per quarter all the way up through Q4. Now, if you're a new business or entering a new market, you'll probably, Q1 could end up taking you several quarters to accomplish as you're just getting things started and getting your product right and what have you. But for sake of discussions, let's just assume this first quarter is a planning period that could run longer than a quarter in some cases. The next thing we do is we go down to our selling machine. So we've got some basic financial metrics you'll see reflected here in the revenue chart as well to the right. Then we've got a starting prospect list size. So if you have an existing business or you have existing lists, could be your list, could be lists of your partners. So these are customer or prospect lists. Let's say we have 1,000 existing customers, just for sake of argument here. So we have 1,000 existing customers that we'll put in here as our starting point, and we're going to start building up more prospects, and each of these 1,000 existing customers or prospects is kind of where we start. Well, then, based upon how many prospects we're beginning with, this will help determine how many new prospects we have to bring to our website down here in the lead generation machine, which is total new traffic to our site, and this again is broken down per quarter. So the spreadsheet's going to basically calculate for us how much traffic we need to complement our existing prospect list with new traffic in order to make our number, okay, to make our goal. Now there's some other figures you need to fill in here, like your ongoing pipeline to sales conversion rate, and I put in some what I think are reasonable defaults. This basically says, out of the pipeline that you're building, what percentage of those pipelines closes each quarter. Your landing page direct conversion rate, this is when people come to your landing page, how many of those people are buying. So let's say here with this particularly priced item at $9.95, we have a lower landing page conversion rate, and let's say we're optimizing that over time, as in both our advertising and in our landing page itself, and then these numbers probably would be lower correspondingly because it's a higher priced item as well. Okay, so we'll drop those conversion rates down. Sales page conversion rate, these are the number of sales excuse me, that we're actually selling. These are the number of people who are buying when they hit our pages. Okay, so you can play around with these numbers, and if you're doing things right by optimizing your site, these numbers should go up over a period of time, especially if you're following what we're recommending in the executive leadership guide. Now at the very bottom here, we look at our lead generation machine. This is talking about, okay, what is it costing us per lead? So if you're doing pay-per-click, for example, cost per click type advertising on Google, Yahoo, Overture, or wherever, you put in the average cost per visitor or per click that arrives at your site. This will give you a CPM, or cost per thousand budget, as you can see here. So this says that this is how much you can afford to spend and still make your number. So let's say, for example, that we wanted to pay $3 per click, or we thought it was going to cost us $3 per click. Okay, that's basically our budget, and it calculates for us, the traffic cost for the period or for the quarter. Shows us, this is another field you can change, which is your ad click-through rate. This is the total number of exposures, okay, and impressions that you'll need to buy in terms of advertising for the quarter. And eCPM is effectively your effective earnings per thousand ad impressions. Okay, so for every 1,000 ad impressions you buy and expose into the market at this click-through rate, okay, and at these costs, this is how much profit, net earnings, you're going to make per 1,000 ad exposures. Okay, so I mean, this is pretty much a numbers game when you're doing this on the internet. Like any business, it's a numbers game. So let's come over here now and look at the key metrics summary. So we have total revenues of $1.25 million. We need to sell 1,256 customers at $995. Okay. Profit and loss, 877. Number of opt-in leads that will be in our pipeline by the time we're done will go from a list of 1,000 up to 2,446. We're paying about $50 per prospect or per lead that ends up in our pipeline. Our actual cost per customer acquisition is $97.34. These are the total number of visitors that will pass through our website over the next year, and this is how many ad exposures we will need in terms of ad inventory at the various ways that we will bring traffic or get the word out through our advertising. This is our ad budget. This is what it's going to cost us, and then the average ad cost per 1,000 is $75, and our earnings per 1,000 is really great. It's $767. Now let me show you what happens if your product doesn't sell for $9.95. Not that many products probably do. Let's say your average sale is only $100. Okay, now you can see a huge difference. You're basically going to take a loss. Okay, you can see the profit and loss numbers here, and these bars are upside down. The average blended margin is hurting you. Okay, so this is not a good thing. You can't afford to sell at $100, with these kind of advertising costs. So let's come back down here now. Let's look and see what happens if we drop our cost per click down to like $2 per click. Well, that's better, but it's not good enough. So we had better be able to find traffic, okay, at roughly $1 per click or $20 to $30 CPM. Okay, in order to have a profitable business. So you see how that works? You can play with your product price point, your margins in terms of how much you're paying your affiliates and salespeople, etc., your different conversion rate assumptions, which we'll talk more about in a second, and then your average cost per visitor that you bring to your website, and which translates to a cost per 1,000. Okay, now let's move on now to the dashboard. So the dashboard basically shows you a graphical view of the key parameters that we just spoke of here. Okay, let's take a quick look here. I think I need to scroll just a tad. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. Get everything here in the video window. All right, in the online business dashboard sheet of this spreadsheet, you see we've got our various advertising and traffic generation programs here at the top. Total number of ad impressions, our average click-through rate, the average advertising costs, okay, and the cost per thousand on average for 1,000 impressions. This is just a summary. Number of visitors we're going to need is 450,000, okay, at this particular point. Now I can go back to the planner. Let's change this back to our $9.95 example. Okay, and I'm going to change these figures back to $3. You can make those whatever you think they really would be, but in your market. But you can come back here and you see that everything suddenly changes in terms of how many visitors we need. We need a lot fewer visitors, obviously, because we don't have to make nearly the amount of unit volume and sales. So as you move forward here, what this shows is we have advertising and traffic generation schemes that are generating 40,763 visitors, various browser types, that hit our landing page or squeeze page where we capture their name and email address, maybe telephone number. Okay, those leads go into this prospect pipeline list. The landing page conversion rate is the percentage on average of visitors to this landing page that get converted and put onto this autoresponder or this prospect pipeline list. Okay, and this is the pipeline list size at the end of the period, or the number we've added into it. After they go into the prospect pipeline, we drive them to the sales page through various promotions that we do in the autoresponder sequence, as well as initially when they first come to the site. After they opt in, we take them to the sales page or the landing page. Could be your product catalog, but more likely is a sales page. We have sales page and pipeline to sales conversion rates. These are the percentages that these pages are converting, or these processes are converting prospects and visitors into sales. Okay, this is the unit volume, the number of sales, the average selling price of our product. Okay, for each sale, what's the average amount of revenue we're generating? The gross sales amount for the whole period, profit and loss, and earnings per 1,000 ad exposures. So that's pretty much it. Once again, we can come back to the planner, and if I scroll down, there's a couple of other little details. Let me just show you. This shows you our cumulative revenue and cum profit and loss, okay, which you may want to be looking at, especially if your advertising is going to cost you more or something like this initially. Let's say it could cost you $10. Let's just do this. Well, let me try it again. Let's go back up. I'm gonna vary something else again here. Remember when we changed this to 100? Let's change it back to 100, and let's go back down and look at this. All right, you can see here this is like a loss-heavy business. Okay, you can see that we're spending way more than we're making. All right, so let's see if we can get this thing back under control here. Okay, you can see here where this is starting to show a profit. We start off with a loss, then we start narrowing the loss, then we basically hit, a little bit of a profit here in Q3, and then we start, seeing some significant profits accumulating, okay, as we move forward. So this is in a situation where, we've got a very low-priced product, and we're having to sell a huge number of units, which may be very difficult to achieve. But nevertheless, these kinds of unit volumes are definitely possible and happen every day, particularly during product launches. Now, let's come back and let's just put in I think I'm just going to put in like a $495 price. Okay, so this is up and to the right all the way across, which is great. The reality is, everybody's business is going to be a little bit different, but this spreadsheet will get you into the ballpark for sure on what it's going to cost you and how much advertising you need to do, and importantly, what this sales machine here on the dashboard has to accomplish in order for you to make money at your online business. So this is critically important, going through this planning stage and finding out, what kind of numbers do you need to make? What kind of ad impressions are going to be required? What kind of advertising inventory is available at those ad budgets, etc. And then what's the right price point to support those advertising costs and to make sure that you can generate the volume that you'll need in order to make your revenue goal. So I hope this has been useful to you, and I look forward to speaking with you again. This is Rick Brady and with Winningware, and I look forward to continuing this conversation with you and on to the next lesson. Take care.